it's loving yourself, whatever size you are, and we change sizes all the time. This is what it means to me anyway, of loving myself, accepting myself, not feeling any less of myself at whatever shape or size I am. But for me, it also don't mean that I don't want to improve. Welcome back to episode 8 of our first season of Her Circle.
I know, hurtling towards the end, and we're not together this time. I'm like, hello.
I know it feels different, but then in a way, I think because we speak a lot like this, it feels like you're in the room.
Yeah.
So, and obviously a lot of our job is like this, isn't it? So, bit of a technical issue, weren't it, at first, because it's getting used to now having us separate.
Yeah, and doing like a different setup, but we'll get there. We'll get there in the end. It's like we said at the very beginning, it's a work in progress. We've learned a lot along the way as we're coming towards the end, and I think, I have to tell you this, there's only, it's the quote from Pitbull, and I've already said this once today. If you've been listening to Radio 1 and you've been hearing them over the last few weeks talking about Pitbull and all of his like quotes, I didn't realise the man was just a complete motivational speaking quote machine. But if there's the biggest room in the world, it is room for improvement. So there we go, Nat. That's the room we're in.
Oh, I love it. Well done. Yes, I love that. And the thing is, I remember as well when you said something like, you can't improve what you haven't done, or something like that.
Exactly.
As in we've and even like down to, originally we wanted to just be together, but it isn't always practical, and we can speak more and get more out if we're separate at times. So we can still do the odd episode together, but we're very busy.
Busy people. Yeah. But it's good, and it's gonna, like I said, we're learning as we go along the way, and this will make it probably easier for us to get, I don't know, like fresh episodes out quicker, because we don't have to kind of synchronize diaries to physically be together. This is much more flexible, isn't it? So hopefully you enjoy it just as much. But should we get into
and I also think so episode 8 is the body positivity movement shifting. This is something I think we can talk about tons, can't we?
And it's constantly evolving, isn't it? So, I mean, starting back at the beginning, what I remember growing up is nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. And that was what body positivity meant to me as a young girl, which is really sad. Like Kate Moss, I think, coined that phrase. And then obviously things evolved, and we want women to embrace themselves, all shapes and sizes. And I remember, it's very, very recent, the Dove campaign, which has done a lot, I think, for body positivity.
It really stands out.
Yeah.
And I think that... Sorry, carry on.
No, you. I didn't know when to stop talking. It's so weird not being next to you when I'm like, shall I talk?
I know, yeah.
We'll get there.
we do bounce off each other when we're together. But I think as well, I think that there's real mixed messages with body positivity as well, because I actually feel that when I first saw, and I'll be hand on heart truthful now, when I first started looking at like body positivity as in like more of a recent thing, it was, to me, my initial naive narrow-minded thought was a bit like, you're half promoting obesity. And really isn't that, is it, at all? And I think that, I actually stand for body positivity massively now, because it's like, I think that you should be comfortable in less. And it's, well, not now, I feel like I always have, but I didn't truly know exactly what it meant. And I think that it's loving yourself, whatever size you are, and we change sizes all the time. This is what it means to me anyway, of loving myself, accepting myself, not feeling any less of myself at whatever shape or size I am. But for me, it also don't mean that I don't want to improve, especially health reasons, and being lighter, for me, life is easier.
Yeah, but it's also true of, like, I saw one of your posts the other day that you'd set yourself a challenge to be on a certain step of plan for so many days, and then you're like, do you know what, actually this doesn't fit with me right now, and I'm okay with my journey going at my pace and learning to, like,
Yeah.
enjoy each stage. And I thought that's so important, because you're not in a race with anybody, and you're only looking to improve your health,
Yeah.
nothing else, because you are so body confident, and it doesn't affect, like, it's not like it's affecting you in your confidence in terms of what to wear or things like that, because you will wear whatever you like at whatever size. And I think that, yeah, you are a
Yeah.
massive body positivity advocate.
Thank you. But yeah, that's the thing. I think that it's like that's where the lines blur for people. Where
It
I
is.
I will get onto this now with what we were saying about it, like possibly shifting, and that is because, yeah, I think that there's influencers that have made it big being body positive, and then if their bodies change, they're getting a lot of backlash for it, and it's sad really. And I think that because I suppose but also I think this is another thing. But online, you can change your opinion. We all change our opinion over time, and I'm the first to say, oh, I thought that back then, but I've learned so much now, and a bit like even in them 3 weeks, like I said, with the 42 days, what you've just mentioned with that post, it was a little bit like I felt then like I've got to do it because I've said I'm going to do it. And it's like, actually, no, I've always been very honest of, what I'm about and what I'm doing. I won't just do something to fit in or to please other people. And yeah, I've been over 20 odd stone, and I'm like, for me, it's my habits that are so, so vital when I'm abusing food. But I also do really love food as well. So, and I like a glass of wine and things like that. And I'm like, I feel like I've been on a diet for 30 odd years of my life. And, if I can be in a place where I've got the balance, then I'm going to enjoy that for a bit.
100%. And, like, live your life and enjoy it along the way, whilst, and you're working on all aspects. You're not just working on, oh god, I need to lose so many pounds, I need to get into this size. You're doing all the work on everything. And it's like you say, like, why do I need to do it? Because I said I'm going to do it. For who? Because whose benefit is it?
Yeah.
And I think if it's not benefiting you, what's the point? So I think 100%, I was like, round of applause when I saw that post. I thought, fair play, because it takes a lot of balls to, like, say, actually, I'm not going to do what I said I was. And you don't have to explain it, but because it's not right for me right now, so that's it. And I think that's maybe where a lot of these other, like, plus size influencers maybe are struggling, because they've built a brand based on their size, and then their following is probably predominantly that size, because they've got an idol or someone that's talking for them and making them feel seen. And then all of a sudden that person is like, feels pigeonholed and wants to change, but feels like they're not allowed to. And I don't know, it's hard, isn't it?
It's really hard, I think, because it is a case of, I think where society needs to look at things is that you can be happy with yourself but still want to change. I think that naturally as humans, but then you get backlash for that, like, but that don't mean you urgently need to change. And there has been times in my life with my weight where I'm like, this is, I mean, okay, I'm being a bit melodramatic, matter of life or death, but at some points I've felt like I could eat myself to death. Like, that is really does need to change. I'm becoming a different person. I'm miserable. I'm down. I'm not moving about. So I think there is that. But in general, it's more just, yeah, I do want to, like, a bit like the way you go to the gym. You're not going to see it overnight. It's just gradual changes that people want to improve on. And, that's part of human nature half the time. So it's okay for people to love themselves and accept themselves, but at all sizes, but also still be like, I want to get healthier. I want to, lose a bit of weight. And that, I think that should be, otherwise I think you're doing what you're pushing someone to be something the opposite way.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like just the narrative that's being rammed down our throats at the minute, whether we like it or not, I think even maybe like a year to 18 months ago, it was about embracing your size at all sizes. You were seeing shops being applauded for having bigger mannequins, and when I say bigger, I mean an average size of an actual real woman, because we don't all have the figure of
Yeah.
Barbie. So that was like big. Like
Yeah.
Nike were praised for having a curve range and for having models promoting their activewear in bigger sizes. But I feel like now we're being sold out because the world wants us to be on the skinny jab, whatever brand, and it drives me up the wall. I get notifications daily from my local pharmacy telling me I can go and get it now if I want, and I think, how dare you? First of all,
I
I'm
know.
of a healthy BMI, but secondly, why, who is behind this that's just trying to ram it down our throats? And I do really think we're just being sold out. They're not interested
Yeah,
in the
I
health
totally
of
agree.
our nation and the obesity, and not just the obesity, but the mental struggles behind people that are suffering with obesity and how that is impacting their day-to-day life physically and mentally. They just want the money.
Yeah.
And at
It's
any
oh yeah.
cost, at any cost, because nobody really knows the long-term effects of what's being sold, and how this is going to affect people down the line. I've got a mixture of clients that want to try it, clients that are intrigued, clients that are terrified, clients that want to lose weight because they want to look to fall pregnant. So then they're too scared to try that because they don't know if that would then cause some negative impact. And I think it's just absolute craziness.
It does seem to have gone on a whole new scale of, and I think that it's like anything, isn't it? Then it's probably just going to keep evolving because, it's this deemed as this magic drug. But I am not completely against it. If people want to take it, that's fine. But it isn't the only option. And like you say, you don't know the long-term effects. Plus, there's like I've got people close to me that take it, and there's a lot of side effects that come with it. But I suppose this episode isn't necessarily about that, is it? It's just from seeing that crazy and how crazy it's gone and the money involved. Everything boils down to money. It's with a lot of these things. I think probably every episode we've done, probably you can go back to money with it.
Yeah,
As in like, health things and people selling you the dream and
found
so
something
many
else I
different things.
want to
But
buy,
definitely,
by the way. I found something
oh
else I want
yes,
to buy this week thanks to Instagram, and I thought this is hilarious because we were only talking about this on last week's episode. So the new wellness trend or craze or whatever you want to call it is I need a weighted vest to go on walks. Every time I open my Instagram,
oh
people are
yes,
having these
I've won that.
transformations.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I know. So let me know if
it's
you
a
try
problem.
it, and then I'll probably try it.
But
Yeah,
no, I do agree.
yeah.
You're right. It's not. I don't blame the skinny jabs, and same as you, I've got friends that have done it or are doing it, and I do think that there's a diet or a weight loss solution out there for everyone at some point, and whatever suits
Yeah.
them. What I'm trying to say is, I feel like that has massively influenced what we're seeing. And you're seeing like celebrities and they're being criticised. So I don't know, Ariana Grande was probably criticised for being overweight a year or two ago, and now she's being criticised for being too underweight and not healthy, and they're blaming Ozempic. And I see memes and stuff all the time of like Sharon Osbourne or other like high influence characters online, and they're being like criticised for their appearance, or it's almost like, I don't know, it kind of is promoting that like heroin chic look again. Do you know, like when some people go too
Massively, and I
far with
think
it?
that yeah. And the thing is, it's sad really because it's always gonna um it's always gonna do well, this sort of thing, because it's gonna play on people's vulnerabilities, isn't it, massively?
Yeah,
And it
definitely.
is, like you said, it's taking a risk with people. I think there should be, but again, this is sort of maybe going off like course a bit, but there should be so much more with the nutrition, and also like you think all this money that gets put into these things, like developing these sort of things, like try and look at the psychological side, So, and what about all these bloody big companies earning a fortune on ultra processed foods? But that, it's all these things. But I think that what I have noticed the most is so many people seem smaller, like so many people, even people that I I've probably not even really heard them talk about the weight and that, but they all seem smaller. And you can't help but then be a bit like, are they on it? Are they taking? It's a bit like I'm doubting everyone.
Yeah. You're looking like, have you seen so and so? Have you seen how much she's looking really good? I wonder what she's been doing. Like, and it is. I do feel like it's more of a trend. Not as more of a trend. I don't know if where I'm going with that thought, but I feel like it's more that it's more. Yeah, it is more of a trend at the minute. I think for people to want to be smaller.
It is. I agree with that. Yeah.
It's like it's gone the opposite from what we were saying. Like, be confident, obviously be healthy, but be body confident at any size. And it's like the role models that you would look up to, they're now getting smaller. So people are going to start to feel a bit betrayed and like, there's no one really for me to look up to anymore. And then is that going to make them feel like less worthy because they're then the minority instead of I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's dangerous really in that way because this was also the danger of the body positivity thing, even though it's a great thing as well. So, but I think that I think everyone needs to be very clear. If they are saying they are positive, that they're happy with their weight or their body, you've got to mean it.
Yeah.
You've got to mean like, so when I say, I'm going to wear that and I love it, I genuinely mean that. That don't mean that I don't think, I could look smaller in that, or this could look better. I mean, the amount of bloody stick I got off that bloody woman for my white dress, saying that it was gaping and all that. But, I felt amazing in it. And her argument was, you'd feel more comfortable in a bigger size. And I was like, but I was comfortable. But yeah, it's what I'm trying to say is I don't every day think, oh my God, I'm perfect, but I'm also very accepting of myself and I'm happy. But when I am overeating, for me, it's much more when I'm overeating and I'm abusing food, I feel like shit.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's a mental thing.
It's not so much. And I get where you're saying with that, because if I've been like, if old habits have come back in and I've started to put weight on, like this happened to me, I'd say 2023, I was not at my best. I was feeling heavier. I was heavier. And it does affect not just your confidence, but like mentally and like physically less energy and stuff like that. But yeah, and I think yourself where you feel better. And it doesn't have to be that being a size 12 is better and you're going to be more confident than anyone because of that. Because like you said, if you're genuinely, like even Lizzo, right? I'm thinking of Lizzo just because that's the first person I can think of that's been big about, I'm big and I love it and I don't care. But even her, I feel like, does she really mean it? Because like you say, you start to see people shrinking and changing and it's like, mean it if you're going to say it.
Yeah, you've got to mean it. And I think that, like, I love, like, this, I can't remember her name, but there's a lady I follow, and she's probably like, I don't know. I think she's like a size 20, and I know that can vary anyway with people, But, this is just to give you an example. And she's amazing, but she isn't saying, her message that comes across isn't saying, I am the perfect size and I love it. She's saying, well, she actually says these words, so I'm not saying, she says, I'm fat and I don't hate myself. Like, so she has had backlash from people saying you're promoting obesity. And she's like, I'm not promoting anything. I'm promoting like that I like the clothes I've got on, that I'm wearing it, and I don't hate myself. And I love that. And I think that's pretty much what I try and stand for, that, I don't hate myself because I've got a weight problem.
That's
And
it.
I'm not, if you're going to hate yourself because you've put on weight, you are going to be very, very sad.
Yeah.
It's, you can't, it's, you can say, I want to change, I'm feeling like rubby. But yeah, it's more trying to say that not every person that's bigger should hate themselves or feel less about themselves. But that also, I can't stress enough, that doesn't mean that they're saying you should be this size.
No, that's it. And that's not her saying that she
I
might
think
not
there's
want.
a mixed message, isn't there, with body positivity
Yeah,
with
there
different
is.
people.
Yeah, and I like that. I don't know who you're talking about, but I think that is a nice way of saying it, because she's not saying I'm happy at this size or I'm not, but she's saying either way I don't hate myself. But why should she have to?
She's absolutely beautiful, and obviously, people's personality, everything. And I'm not saying this in a patronising way, 'cause she's really, really gorgeous, but that's what shines through with people,
Of
anyway,
course,
isn't it?
yeah.
And but I think that I would agree with that. When someone is significantly, significantly overweight, I do think to myself, oh, if they are just saying, I'm so happy, like I don't want to lose a pound. But are they saying that? Or is that, again, just a very narrow minded view that people are, people are just assuming that?
Yeah,
And I think that
true.
that's the dangerous side, that, it's not to assume, really.
No, that's it. And like, you can still be I don't know how to put this, like, bigger and be like all for being bigger and body confident, but still want to lose weight and not have to have that
Yeah, of course
held
you can.
against you. And it's about finding the line
And not,
between.
like you said earlier, not put you into one box.
Yeah, that's it. And it's being able to have that line between your personal choice and not just what you're being told you should do or what you feel you should do.
Yeah, because I think, I've done probably like the line of work we're in as well. I've done a lot of research with like people that have taken like GLP ones and all that. And I think that, you hear of people then being like, am I going to be the only like bigger sized person left in this world? Like,
Yeah,
it's
this is it.
scaring people. And like, it isn't for everyone. It really, and yeah, I think that it's do what makes you happy and what genuinely makes you happy, not for someone else to fit a certain size and fit into a certain box. And I think because you're never going to as well, because
No.
like, it does come in and out of fashion, don't it, sizes?
Yeah.
I think I said this actually recently on one of my posts, and it's like, at one point it was all like big bums and, thick thighs, and, and also, again, I follow a really inspirational lady who's like promoted like plus size and that. And she says, like, a lot of plus size you see though have still got like flat stomachs, and they've got like a very curvaceous body and not very like proportioned well. Like, we need more people showing like clothes and that where they don't have that body.
Yeah, like a normal body.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a bit like, I think what she's trying to say is like, it's like, yeah, you can be body confident, and they'll use them models, but still you've got to be a certain like sort of
Yeah.
look.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So it's coming with it's still coming with conditions, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, that's it. It's true. And it's even like going back to, the brands on the high street and stuff promoting their curve range or whatever. It's still half the time your average size 14 woman, which is still for a majority of people unattainable. And what I meant by when I said a normal body, I meant your average woman, like in real life,
Yeah.
not on Instagram life. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
More of the majority, isn't it?
that's it.
Yeah. And also that we're all so different, like different shapes, sizes.
Yeah.
So yes, we don't
And you
want to
see it.
be trying to just fit in.
No. And when you say now about shapes and sizes, we've seen this before, obviously, like Gemma's had this before where someone's criticised her about saying you're not a size 12 or you're not a size 10 when you were that weight. And it's like, yes, I was. Who are you to say what size my clothes are? And I think everybody weighs differently and has different height and can still be the same clothes size, like, because everybody's body's in different proportions. And, it's It's just a
Absolutely.
strange one, yeah.
And it's, I mean, clothes sizes, they're another bloody story, aren't they? And
Yeah.
yeah, that's just, yeah, that's another thing. Like, I always get annoyed about the XXL and all of that. Like,
Yeah.
I put something on a closed site the one day, and I love the way you're showing the 3 different models. However, I wish like the industry could get rid of like calling it extra large for like a size 16, because that also varies between shops
Of
as well.
course, yeah.
And like it got loads of people that liked it, but then there's been like full on arguments with people that ended up like saying like what do you want them to call it? If your body's large, you've just got to accept it. And I said, I don't care, but I think of like my nieces,
Yeah.
and they're tall, and it's like you could be a real healthy BMI, but you still need that bigger size. And just call it the number. Don't call it, say to someone, I'm extra large, because
Yeah.
that can really get in people's heads.
Yeah,
And
it's got more of a negative impact on it, hasn't it? And I know exactly what you mean, because if I go to
I
order
think, yeah,
anything on
you're actually
Zara,
calling it. Yeah, that's
like
right.
Zara will
That's
say
a
to me, I'll
perfect
think, oh,
example.
I like that. And it will say your recommended size is an XL. And I think, bloody hell, charming. And then I
Yeah,
think, if I, and
yeah,
I think, well, does that mean that before I lost weight then I wouldn't have been able to shop here because they don't do bigger than an XL? So when I was a
you
size
wouldn't have.
18 to
Yeah.
20, what would I have bought? Nothing.
I've saw a lot of people boycott Zara because of that reason.
Yeah.
So I'm very hit and miss whether I can fit into Zara or not. But again, it's looking at people. At the end of the day, eating disorders and that exist. So I think there's just no need for you to call it something that sounds very large. At the end of the day, like I actually said to this woman, look up the definition of extra large, and that gives you your answer. An extra large pizza, and it's saying of a very large. I think it actually said of a very very large size. And if you've got a young girl, that could be really really like, oh my god, like compared to, like, I think I compare it as well, because when I was younger that would have really bothered me, and I was always taller than my friends, so always, even when I was like 10.5 stone and I was 5'9", I still was a bigger size than my friends, because they were all like 5 foot,
Yeah.
size 8s, and I couldn't fit into anything like that. So I think that just calling it a number don't hold. I know that can still have issues, but we've got to label it somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Just I
I
think
think
that
so.
extra large is just, or and especially for men, it must be even worse because it's like triple XL and stuff like that. And I think, oh my god, it's just they've got it harder in a way, because at
Yeah.
least we have like your 8 to 24 or whatever, and then it gets to,
Yeah,
they don't have
yeah.
numbers so much, do
Whereas
they?
it's just them,
Yeah.
isn't it? And you're like, for God's sake. So
But
yeah,
yeah, it's hard.
I
So
just think that you could just call it something neutral.
yeah,
That don't need to be calling someone a certain size. So yes, but I definitely feel that, back to sort of this episode in general, that there's a very big shift in what is, I don't know how to word it really, but like just
what's
the
that?
whole,
Like the wellness kind of aspect of it, it's almost as if we're being like, it's shifted so that being thinner is like, basically thinness is now disguised as wellness, whereas before it's like
yeah,
being just a healthy body size and being positive in that was better, but now it's like it's flipped, but we're trying to not be told it's flipped.
absolutely. I think that's nailed it on the head. And I think that is exactly how I feel, because I know that I've been thinner, a lot thinner, and really unhealthy.
Yeah.
I've been, I don't want to be obsessing about weight anymore. I know I'm a weight loss consultant and it's part of my makeup, but it's like,
It's
I just
exhausting.
think that if I'm putting goodness in my body, you know, I'm really, really conscious of that now, because I know as well, huge with my mental health of what I'm putting in really makes a difference. I'm moving my body every day. I can do everything that I could do. Then that's enough.
Yeah.
Whereas it's trying to get the perfect balance with your head and your mind. Your head and your body. And there's a lot of people that are told, you look bloody amazing and that. And they're so unhealthy.
Yeah, it's like you get praised. We've said this before. You get more praise for being thinner, and like you say, they're not necessarily healthy.
And I think that
healthier or happier.
Yeah, and I think that's the danger with the sort of new shift, and in particular from weight loss injections, because at one point it was like people all flying out to Turkey, and that wasn't it, for weight loss surgery, but a lot of them people are on the jabs as well, I say. And it's like it's a lot more accessible, isn't it, to get these
and it's scary.
Medication.
It's scary because I think it's definitely something I would have done younger, without.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
I would have been like, and do you know what? Yeah. Would I have got it from the official routes? Maybe not. I'd have just got hold of it. And that's terrifying.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you're at that real breaking point, and even maybe not that, just like years and years of stressing with it all and up and down. And I think as well, like the sort of clients that we have that have come to us probably are the same sort of clients that would try weight loss injections. But this might be a bit of a plug. It's what I genuinely believe in, and YouTube. I do really feel like the one-to-one diet just gives you everything you need in such a healthy way. Gives you the fast weight loss, if not faster. You're fully nourished, and you feel amazing. And plus, you're not having to put any chemicals in you.
This is it. And do you know what? It's like if any of my friends are talking and somebody will say, oh, I'm doing the one-to-one diet with Maria, they'll go, oh, but it's not very good for you, or isn't that dangerous? But then if someone said, oh, I've got Manjaro, they go, ooh, where did you get that? It's almost like it's got more of a bit of excitement around it and intrigue than like, this is bad. And I'm not saying one way is better than the other. I mean, I suppose I am, but not in a plugging it way. But I think the same as you. Like, even people that take a GLP-1 or like a skinny jab, any brand, that still need that support and accountability, and they're not getting it. And I watched that documentary with Anna Richardson on, it was over a year ago, and she spoke to various different people that had tried it and had different results, positive and negative, and they all said, and even the spokesperson from the NHS said, this would work much better if it was backed by that one-to-one support, which we cannot physically provide. And I think that's where we do help, because we help clients with their one-to-one, their own personal goals, how we help them overcome different situations. And, you doing like a lot more about like the behaviours of eating and habits and things like that, not just from own experience, but like you're learning more and things like that, and that we're able to help and support with that. They're not getting that with that. Like, I do think, okay, so you're going to keep jabbing yourself up. What happens when you get to where you want to be? Like, are you weaning yourself off that, or are you just going to stop it? Then what? What have you learned? You've learned to just not eat.
Exactly.
At all.
And also, I find it really frustrating with the whole, it's not healthy to do the one-to-one. Like, we hear it, because you are literally getting everything you need. Whereas with like other methods, like we just spoke about, like, it's a bit like that. That's what's bizarre about this world, that people would be like, oh, because she can eat what she wants, real food, it's seen more healthy. And you're like, yeah, but they're probably just picking at a few things and undernourished, and it's like, whereas, and again, this sounds like it's an attack on it. It really isn't, but it's just sort of the double standards that you see a lot. And I think that, again, take it back to health, take it back to your mental health and your physical health, because they go hand in hand. Like, what is, like, obviously, if someone is really morbidly obese and they're putting all this pressure on their organs and that, then yes, I get that someone might use a GLP-1 if they've tried every other way. I really do get that, you know, to try and be healthier, but it isn't the only solution. You've got to, like, even with one-to-one, you know, for some people, yes, but for a lot of people like myself with a very complex relationship with food, that isn't the only solution. No. But, you know, it's a brilliant tool health-wise to lose weight.
Yeah, definitely. And I get what you're saying, that you've got to work on the whole package, but sometimes for that initial, it's like, we need to get this weight off fast. Then you can see it. You can see it from both sides, but I still
and start feeling the benefit of losing weight.
And do you know what? I still think there's a massive argument to say that we still get faster results, but you can enjoy it. Like, I'm not being funny. I didn't want to lose weight because I didn't like food. I bloody love food. I love eating. I enjoy my meals and I enjoy nice meals. So I think, why would I want to just lose weight by having no appetite? I'm like, what a miserable existence. I like to still have food.
You know, that was one of the reasons when I was in dire straits with the, you know, before I became a consultant, before I lost all that weight in 2021, it was a bit like, if I can't do this, I'm going to have weight loss surgery. But I actually thought to myself, like my happiness with food, when I love nice food and nutrition, you know, I really love food. That wasn't my issue, which sounds like this is where it's complex, because it was then just abusing food as like a drug, really, but not in the same way. And I thought, I don't want to never be able to enjoy food, because I love it and it brings me a lot of when I'm using it right, it brings me so much happiness.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that is one thing that I have learned from being on plan and losing weight and working my way back up the steps, is I do enjoy everything in moderation now, and I am very different about how I eat, and I don't restrict myself from having anything. Whereas
no, that's right.
I think I'd find it difficult if I physically couldn't. And then, like, you stop, and then what do you do? Are you like a little Pac-Man after you've stopped having the injection? I don't know. Like, what's happened? I don't know enough people that have got to where they want to be from taking it, that have then gone on to successfully maintain. So I'll be interested to keep watching that.
And this isn't at all, just to be really clear, this isn't to see people fail, because, you know, having a weight problem and that, it's so hard, and but it's, I think it's a more like, stick up for what we do, because it is a brilliant tool.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, don't feel obliged as well to be losing weight. If you are happy with your habits, you're happy with, you know, where you're at, don't follow the crowd.
No, please. That's it. And it's about learning to do, you know, something that's going to help you, and that you trust, and that is going to help you feel in a better place without having to follow a trend. And that could be anything, couldn't it? Like we said, there's something for everybody, and it's not necessarily that we're better than anything else. It's just knowing that what is trying to be sold to you, basically.
Yeah. And looking at the whole package.
Yeah.
Because being the thinnest don't mean the healthiest.
No. And I think that just comes back to what we've been talking about. It's just that cycle has changed, hasn't it? Because thinner was best, thin was in, then it was out, then it was body positivity. And I just feel like we are slowly starting to see it creep around again, that now, like we said earlier, thinness is wellness in disguise, or wellness is thinness in disguise, that way round. Yeah. And it's not necessarily that they are more well.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And for some people, yes, you know, again, I've seen accounts where people really, it's given that tool, you know, to really get a grip of their health and shut down food noise and everything. And that's the path they've chosen. They've made them changes. But I think, you know, you've got to, like you have, you know, like I have now, you've got to do other work and other coping mechanisms, and look at yourself as a whole, looking after your mind and your body.
That's it, the full package. It's not just, yes. I agree.
Yes. So yes, I think that's a good way to round it up. Do
Yeah,
you?
definitely, I
Yeah.
agree. Because I'm
And
bloody
I'm loving you
starving.
in the pink, Maria. It suits you so much.
You are?
You look beautiful in it.
Oh,
In the
thank you.
pink. I love you in the pink.
This was
Yeah, it
again
really suits you.
influenced and then didn't wear it for weeks. And then this morning I was in a rush to get out the door for a team training day. What the hell am I going to wear? And I thought, rip the tags off that. That'll do. So it's not being returned anymore.
Looks lovely on you, really nice. So
Thank
yes,
you.
so we've only got 2 more episodes after this,
Two more.
and yes, we will. Yeah, and we've got a special guest for our last one,
Yeah,
haven't
we'll
we?
save that as a surprise. We'll keep you guessing who our guest is.
Yes. Okay. Any
Right.
questions? Anything? Please like, subscribe, comment. We love to hear it.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll speak to you
Bye.
next time. Bye.